The explosion you're holding in. There's a pressure cooker sitting in your chest right now. You know the one. It's been there for years, maybe decades. You've been adding to it piece by piece, story by story, wound by wound. Abuse, betrayal, molestation, prison time, rape, systemic violence, the kind of pain that doesn't fit neatly into LinkedIn bios or Sunday morning testimonies, the kind of pain that makes people uncomfortable when you even hint at it. So you don't. You smile, you lead, you show up, you carry everyone else's burdens while your own sit heavy unspoken building pressure. And here's the thing about pressure cookers, they don't just sit there forever, they explode. I had the profound honor of sitting down with Maurie Johnson, someone who understands this truth in their bones. Maury is doing something revolutionary in this world, something that's making it better one brave story at a time. They're teaching us that the stories we're most afraid to tell are the ones that will set us free. They're creating space for people to release what's been bottled up for far too long, transforming trauma into testimony, pain into purpose, and silence into sacred healing. And today I'm here to share what Maury taught me, what they're teaching all of us about the power of releasing what we've been holding in. Because here's what Maury knows that most of us are still learning. Sharing your story isn't just therapeutic, it's not just healing. It's an act of courage so profound that it can change the trajectory of someone else's life. And for those of us in the soft girl era, for those of us learning to be soft in a world that taught us survival, this truth hits different. Let me be clear about something. When I talk about sharing your story, I'm not talking about posting a cute vulnerability moment on social media. I'm not talking about the sanitized, palatable version of your pain that makes people feel inspired without feeling uncomfortable. I'm talking about the real thing, the messy, ugly, still healing thing, the thing that makes your hands shake when you even think about saying it out loud. Maury Johnson shared something with me that I can't stop thinking about. They said that bottling up trauma, whether it's abuse, rape, prison time, molestation, or any of the other unspeakable things we've survived, is like shaking a soda can. Every day you don't release it, the pressure builds. And one day, when you least expect it, when you're at the grocery store or in a meeting or trying to have a normal conversation with someone you love, it explodes. And the explosion, it's never pretty, it's never convenient, and it always hurts you more than anyone else. But here's what happens when you choose to release it on your own terms. When you open that bottle slowly, intentionally, in a safe space with people who can hold it, the pressure dissipates, the weight lifts, and suddenly you're not a bomb waiting to go off. You're a beacon. You're a lighthouse for everyone else who's been drowning in their own silence. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but my story is too much. It's too heavy. People don't want to hear about that. And to that, I say with all the love and all the directness, you're wrong. Not because your story isn't heavy, it absolutely is. But because the people who need to hear it, the people who are carrying their own versions of it, they're dying for someone to go first. They're suffocating under the weight of thinking they're the only one. And your voice, your truth, your willingness to say, this happened to me and I'm still here, that's not too much. That's everything. Maury Johnson reminded me of something we forget when we're in survival mode. Your survival through unimaginable pain is a triumph worth celebrating, even while you're still struggling, even while you're still healing, even while you're still figuring it out. The fact that you made it, that you're still here, that you're still breathing and trying and showing up, that is victory, that is triumph, and it deserves to be honored, not hidden. We live in a world that loves a good redemption story, but only if it's tied up with a bow. Only if you've overcome and you're on the other side and you can smile and say, but look at me now. And that's garbage because most of us aren't on the other side. Most of us are in the middle. We're still struggling. We're still healing. We're still carrying wounds that haven't fully closed. And the world wants us to wait until we're better before we speak. But Maury taught me that waiting is a trap. Waiting keeps you silent. Waiting keeps you isolated. Waiting keeps the pressure building. Your triumph isn't contingent on being healed. Your triumph is that you made it. Period. Full stop. You survived abuse. You survived rape. You survived prison. You survived molestation. You survived systemic racism and sexism and every other force that tried to break you. And you're still here. That's the triumph. That's the story. And it's worth telling right now exactly as you are. There's something particularly insidious about the way Black professionals are expected to carry trauma. We're supposed to be twice as good, work twice as hard, and never ever let them see us sweat. We're supposed to show up polished and professional and put together no matter what's happening behind closed doors, no matter what happened to us before we got here. And that expectation, that pressure to perform strength, it's killing us. It's literally killing us. Maurie Johnson is part of a movement that's saying enough. Enough with the capes, enough with the masks, enough with pretending that we're not carrying the weight of generational trauma and personal pain and systemic oppression all at the same time. Because here's the truth: when we share our stories, when we release what we've been holding, we don't just heal ourselves. We create permission for everyone around us to do the same. One shared story can prevent someone else's silence. Let that sink in for a moment. Your openness, your vulnerability, your willingness to say the thing that scares you most, it's not just cathartic for you, it's a lifeline for someone else. It's the thing that makes someone else say, if they can say it, maybe I can too. It's the thing that breaks the cycle of isolation that trauma thrives in. I think about the women in the soft girl era community, the high achieving Black women between 38 and 55 who have spent decades in survival mode. They've led teams, they've raised families, they've held down households and carried communities, and they're exhausted. They're ready to shift from constantly grinding to finally grounding. And part of that grounding, part of that transition into softness is releasing the stories they've been carrying alone. Because here's what Maury knows and what we're all learning: softness isn't weakness, vulnerability isn't failure. Sharing your story isn't oversharing, it's liberation, it's healing. It's the thing that transforms your pain from a burden into a bridge. Think about the woman who started her business in her 60s after facing challenges that would have broken most people. She didn't wait until everything was perfect. She didn't wait until all her wounds were healed. She shared her journey while still in the middle of it. And in doing so, she inspired countless others to take their own brave steps. That's the power of going first. That's the power of saying, I'm still figuring it out, but I'm not hiding anymore. Or consider the woman entrepreneur with a disability who received government support, not because she pretended everything was fine, but because she was honest about her struggles and her resilience. She turned her vulnerability into visibility, her pain into policy change, her story into support for others. She didn't wait for permission to speak. She didn't wait until she was on the other side. She spoke from the middle, and it changed everything. And then there are the visionary entrepreneurs who are creating community spaces specifically designed for shared stories and healing. They understand that we don't heal in isolation. We heal in community. We heal when we see ourselves reflected in someone else's story. We heal when we realize we're not alone, we're not broken, we're not too much. We're human and we're healing, and that's enough. Now, I'm not naive. I know that sharing your story isn't easy. I know that it requires safety and trust. and the right people in the right space. I know that not everyone deserves access to your pain, but I also know that keeping it locked inside, that's not protecting you. That's slowly destroying you. And the people who could be helped by your story, they're being destroyed by their own silence too. So here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to identify one piece of your bottled up story. Just one. It doesn't have to be the biggest or the worst or the most dramatic. It just has to be true. And I want you to share it safely. Maybe that's with a therapist. Maybe that's with a trusted friend. Maybe that's in a journal that no one else will ever read. But I want you to release it. I want you to feel what it's like to let some of that pressure out. And then I want you to reach out to one person who might need to hear that you're not afraid, one person who might be carrying their own version of what you've survived. You don't have to tell them your whole story. You don't have to fix them or save them. You just have to let them know that they're not alone, that someone else has walked through fire and lived to tell about it, that their silence doesn't have to be permanent. And finally, I want you to document your I made it moment right now, today. Not when you're fully healed, not when you've overcome everything. Right now, in the middle of still struggling, still healing, still figuring it out. Write it down, say it out loud, celebrate the fact that you survived, because that in itself is a triumph worth honoring. Maurie Johnson is changing the world by teaching us that our stories have power, that our survival has meaning, that our willingness to be vulnerable in a world that demands our strength is an act of revolution. And as someone who's committed to helping Black women unlearn survival and rediscover softness, I can tell you that this work, this brave work of sharing our stories, it's essential because the soft girl era isn't about being weak. It's not about giving up or checking out or pretending that the pain didn't happen. It's about choosing to be soft in a world that taught us survival. It's about releasing the cape, setting boundaries without apology, and protecting our peace as a practice. And part of that practice is releasing what we've been holding. It's turning our survival into something sacred, something that can support others. So here's what I want you to feel right now. I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel like someone finally understands that the weight you're carrying is real and heavy and valid. And I want you to feel empowered, empowered to know that you don't have to carry it alone anymore. That sharing your story in whatever way feels safe for you is an option. That your triumph doesn't require perfection, that your voice matters exactly as you are right now, in the middle of still struggling, but still here. And I want you to leave here lighter. I want you to leave here knowing that your struggles don't define you, but sharing them can heal you. I want you to leave here with a fire, a determination to claim your own triumph, to break your own silence, to be the person who goes first so that someone else doesn't have to explode alone. Because that's what Maurie Johnson taught me. That's what they're teaching all of us. That the stories we're most afraid to tell are the ones that will set us free. That our survival is a triumph worth celebrating. That one shared story can prevent someone else's silence. The world doesn't need more people pretending to have it all together. The world needs more people brave enough to say, I'm still healing, and that's okay. The world needs more people willing to be beacons instead of bombs. The world needs your story, messy and unfinished as it may be. So here's my challenge to you: stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting until you're fully healed. Stop waiting for permission. Your story matters now. Your voice matters now. Your survival matters now. And someone out there, someone you may never meet, is waiting for you to go first. They're waiting for you to show them that it's possible to speak, to heal, to survive, to thrive, This week, take one brave step. Share one piece of your story, reach out to one person, document one triumph, and watch what happens when you stop holding it all in and start letting it out. Watch how the pressure releases, watch how the weight lifts, watch how your pain becomes a bridge for someone else because you made it, still struggling, but you made it. And that is everything. That is the revolution. That is the transformation. That is the soft girl era in action, choosing vulnerability over performance, choosing healing over hiding, choosing liberation over silence. Your story is waiting to be told. Your triumph is waiting to be celebrated. Your voice is waiting to be heard. And the world, whether it knows it or not, is waiting for you. So go ahead, take a breath, feel the pressure, and then when you're ready, start releasing it. Not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because you deserve to be free. And someone else is waiting for you to show them that freedom possible. The explosion you're holding in doesn't have to destroy you. It can liberate you. It can heal you. It can save someone else, but only if you choose to release it, only if you choose to speak, only if you choose to be brave enough to share your story exactly as you are right now in this moment. So, what will you choose? Will you keep shaking the bottle or will you finally let it breathe? The choice is yours. And whatever you choose, know this: you are not alone. You are seen. You are valued. And your story, your survival, your triumph, it matters. It all matters. And it's time the world heard it.